What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Bodybuilding Podcast. This is episode number 80, and I'm here with Mr. Evan Centopani. How are you, sir?
What's up, Fouad? 80 episodes?
80 episodes, yeah.
Wow.
And that's not including all the episodes of Bodybuilding and Bollocks and now Bro Chat. I do like...
You're a hard worker. You've always been a hard worker, though.
I got to make that money. No, I don't know, man. I feel like once I find something I'm passionate about, I kind of like dive into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I don't know. I find like it's weird. This has become like an outlet after bodybuilding. I still get to be involved in the sport, but I'm not like in a different way.
Right.
So I don't know. I enjoy talking to everybody. The other thing too is throughout my career, I didn't really make close friends with everybody because I'm in Canada and I didn't go to a lot of the shows, and so I kind of feel like this gives me an avenue to like get closer to everybody, I guess.
Well, don't feel bad. I mean, I'm in the U.S. and I didn't make a lot of friends.
Yeah, but you do it on purpose. You avoid bodybuilding at all costs.
Yeah, why? Why do I do that?
I don't know. I've always wanted to ask you. You have a thing about. You've always said things like, "I'm not just a bodybuilder," or "I'm not." I like to talk about other things other than bodybuilding, and like this was always it was always kind of like your MO.
So this is me overcompensating, just running away from bodybuilding.
But I always wondered, I'm like, what's wrong with just being a bodybuilder? Like,
no, you're right. There's actually nothing wrong, especially if you do it well, right? I mean, how many people get to be good at even one thing in life, right? Yeah. So if you're good at something, I mean, when you really think about it, it's crazy because, like, as bodybuilders, a lot of times, like, bodybuilding is a tough sport.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not easy to make money in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So, like, if you duke it out and you place pretty well, you land a sponsorship, at least doing it the old way, like the way that we had to do
it. Yeah.
It's not easy to make some money. So, like, you make some money, and then, like, the thing that sucks is, like, you talk to people that are in other industries. Mm-hmm. Like, you'll talk to somebody, he'll be like, hey, I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep. Like, I'm nobody. And he makes, like, significantly more money than you do. And you're like, what?
Not really. Not really.
Like, I'm one of the best in the world at what I do, and I have to kill myself, and we're making the same money.
Well, yeah, comparatively. Me and Ian had this conversation on a different podcast because we were talking about how, like, if somebody places like 10th at the Olympia, they're considered like shit.
Yeah, you have nothing. But like if you were number 10 in the world than anything else, you'd be a fucking superstar making millions.
I know. I said to Ian, if you owned the 10th best restaurant in the world, you'd have a 3-month waiting list.
You're on fire. You don't even have time for podcasts.
Yeah, that's bodybuilding though, man. That's what it is. But I live by the sword, die by the sword. I love it anyway. I don't care. So
you got to do what you like.
But what is that? But we still don't know. Like, what is that about you and not? I do understand the fact that, like, you do something all day long and it's your whole life, so you want to do other things and talk about other things or whatever. But at the same time, you were extreme about it.
I guess I just like so much shit, like I just have so many things that I like. Mm-hmm. It's weird because on one hand, I think like my tendency is to hyper focus on things. Like I've never had a hard time focusing.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there's so many different things I like. And then sometimes I'm not sure which one to focus on. And I don't know. I like a lot of different stuff.
I have no idea what you like other than like lawnmowers and like working with steel and shit like that.
Yeah, I like that. I like lawnmowers.
I think we have our other guest. We have our other guest. What the?
Find out what Jay likes.
I don't. This is so weird. Is this the right person?
If it's not, have him on anyways and see what he likes.
Yeah, no, it's the right person. What's going on, Jay?
Hey, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I didn't notice I noticed your name came up, and I was like, I don't know who that is.
What do you mean?
It says Jason Isaac Cutler.
Yeah.
Is
that's my driver's license name.
All right. Should I not have let that out of the bag, or is that okay?
No, it's okay.
I didn't know your full name was Jason.
Yeah, Jason Isaac. Jewish. I'm not Jewish, though.
I had no idea. Hey, me and Evan were just talking about Evan's other passions and how he kind of always didn't like to talk about bodybuilding and didn't like really get involved in the bodybuilding world. But you're kind of the opposite, Jay. You're like as involved as you could be. But outside of doing interviews and outside of like shows, do you kind of like not want to talk about it? Do you stay away from bodybuilding?
I can't really get away from it, to be honest.
Yeah. So it's
because of what I've done. I mean, I've done it since I was 18. So unfortunately, yeah, I guess it's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm passionate about it. I love it. I mean, you talk about it every day. Are you sick of talking about it?
No, but that's what I was saying to Evan is like, I kind of like the fact that, I'm a bodybuilder and that's what I do and that's what I love. So it's like, it's all good. But Evan is kind of always steered away from it in a way. Yeah.
He's like a hermit though.
Let's talk about him like he's not here. Okay. So I wanted to ask, Evan, I wanted to ask you what's going on after your prep. You got ready for a show, then the show got moved. You decided not to do it. What now? Like, what happens now? Are you still in shape? Are you still like looking at other shows?
Oddly, I decided to just come off everything, and I haven't taken anything for like since August.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just decided to just clean out, and I'm kind of small right now, but I kind of feel good at the same time. Like I sleep great at night. And it just keeps making it like harder and harder to want to go back on. But like, I know I should because I need to do what I need to do to be competitive. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in a weird place, but it feels good. And it's probably a really healthy thing to do.
So you want to be competitive. Like you're planning something for next year.
Yeah. I definitely want to get on stage next year for sure.
What about you, Jay? Are you making a comeback?
Yeah, I always say that. Like, boy. Yeah, I was following Evan's progress for this year, and I know the show got moved, so he bailed. But I know a lot of people are anticipating him. And he's one of the few guys, Evan. You're one of the few guys I think I got to work out. Like, we trained at one point, right?
Yep, that was awesome.
Which wasn't, I haven't done that with a lot of people people that are competitive, and it was really cool. I don't know what year that was.
I remember that. I remember there was that was a magazine. They did a magazine feature on that, I think.
I think it was 2010. And it's funny because like that photo will still come up and they'll be like, yeah, I didn't know who you were. Like, I didn't think you were anybody, but then I saw a picture of you with Jay Cutler. You worked out with him? So like.
Yeah, because I remember when you were coming up, even before you turned professional, and my friends down in Worcester County, I had friends like in Connecticut area, and they're like, yeah, there's this guy Evan Centopani and da-da-da. And then of course you came out and got your pro card and were like one of the bigger guys. So it was always impressive, and everyone anticipates you getting on stage. So I think that will be a big buildup for 21.
Do you think it's because you're such a hermit? Is that why people are waiting? Because they just keep yourself hidden so everybody wants to know?
Maybe, but it's not done intentionally. Like, it's not like a strategy or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's not like that with other guys. People don't care.
Well, because we're out there every day, right? Like most of us post like progress photos or something all the time. So like everyone's like, oh, I already saw that guy. You know what I mean? Like, when was the last time you posted a progress photo? I think there was like a half of a progress photo when you were getting ready for the last show.
I don't know. I'm never thinking of doing that. It's probably really bad marketing on my part. It's just not. It's just not where my head is at, and it's probably where my head should be at.
Yeah.
Because people who post more, like and they always got their shirt off and stuff. Like they definitely have like way more followers than I do. But it's like, I don't know. I never think of that.
Jay, you didn't. Nowadays a lot of guys work out together. There's a lot of like collabs and all that going on. Why didn't you guys do that like back in your prime? Nobody really did that back then.
Man, social media has brought people together more, I think. Like, there's a lot more interaction. We can, I was thinking even yesterday, like Dennis James posted his dad's birthday, and I got on there and said, happy birthday. I saw a lot of the top guys. So there's just way more interaction where, you know, we had the magazine stuff. It limited you to conversation with the other guys, but we didn't have a way to easily access people to be able to do these kind of collabs. I mean, when we met up in certain places, I mean, Evan and I will talk about that shoot we did in 10. I mean, that was set up. That wasn't a social media thing because I don't think Instagram was around yet then. Yeah. But you know, it's kind of weird now. I feel that a lot of people just want to, you know, continue to build social following. And I'm along the side of Evan where he just is like, hey man, I'm just here to work out. I mean, and not think about, oh, I should post this. Sometimes I miss things and I'm like, damn, that would have been a good something to post up. But I've noticed kind of backed away a lot from posting certain things. I do stories and things like that, but like just coming up with like pictures to post up on Hard Post Instagram, it's just not something that really interests me as much. And, you know, I have to throw that out. Evan's like the original bear just training in socks guy.
Where'd you get that from, Evan? Is that your thing, or did you steal it from somebody?
No, I created that.
He's not lying. He is not lying. Everyone copied him, and I can attest to this.
Okay, but I want to ask, Evan, did you see anybody do it, or did you just decide one day that it was a cool, like it felt good?
No, I just what made me start doing that? I don't know. I just started doing it because, well, you know what it was? Like, you know, when I first started working out, I'd go to the gym in like some like cheesy running sneakers or something, you know, when I'm like 18 or whatever. And then I got like a stupid pair of like Asics wrestling shoes because I thought they looked cool. Yeah. So I was working out in those for a little bit. And the thing I liked, I was like, man, these feel like there's kind of nothing between me and the ground. And then I'm like, wait a minute, why don't I just make it so there is nothing between me and the ground? I just take my shoes off. Yeah. It just seemed like the logical next step. So I started doing that.
But the wrestling shoes are cool though. Like I bought mine because I saw you had yours. I'm like, oh, that's
yeah, and then it was just the socks, and then everybody started doing the socks.
Yeah, the socks is like the main thing now. I'm doing the socks. I finally caved it, but it actually feels better.
But you like it, right?
I do like it. I'm not just doing it because
it's not just a stylistic choice.
No, it's more stylish to wear the wrestling shoes.
Yeah, but it feels good without the shoes. It's just better.
Jay, you're still rocking the Atomics, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I train at Evan runs his gym. He can do whatever he wants. You probably can do the same thing. I train at public gyms. Sometimes it's not really suggested to go barefoot in there or with socks, you know?
Well, the Lift Factory, they probably wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I've been there. They're cool like that.
Yeah, Callum showed up with bare feet, actually, when he came.
Did he really?
Yeah, bare feet.
Hey, Jay, I got to ask you this because I've always wanted to ask you this. Do you remember asking me to come out to train with you a long time ago?
Yep. Yeah, I remember offering that to you.
Okay, can I need to publicly apologize for not coming out because I felt like it was wrong of me to not come out, but it was really just an anxiety thing. I got like, you were Mr. Olympia at the time and you're like, come out and train. I got nervous. I was like, that's terrifying. For like a young guy, like Evan, you kind of like you're a young guy. Like if Jay said, come to my house, train with me for whatever, couple days, whatever it was, would you jump on it or would you be like nervous to do it?
No, man, I'd be there. You're crazy. You didn't go.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'd be. I mean, I'm apprehensive. I don't go anywhere. So yeah, of course, I'd be like, oh man, you know, how is it going to work? What about my food? Like, I just think of all these dumb things. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, shit. In hindsight, yeah, man, you should have gone.
Yeah, in hindsight, I like kick myself every year after that I didn't go. So I just wanted to say that publicly. So now you know, Jay.
I know you squatted 500 the other day. I've been keeping up with you. So
yeah, my old ass can still handle a little bit of weight. Only in the legs, though. It's weird. Do you guys notice, like, as you get older, certain body parts can't handle weight and other body parts can?
Well, I'm old. I'm the oldest of the crew here. Evan's still going. So I was, you know, until I quit, I mean, I was pretty strong all the way through. But I never went. How old are you now?
42.
Yeah, see, I quit at 40. So after that, I never really trained too heavy after that.
Evan, are you still training heavy, or have you altered your training now that you're a little bit older or overcoming injury?
It's weird. Like, you know, upper body stuff is like great, like really strong.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't know if this sounds lame or not, but I feel like with my lower body training that I actually get way more out of. Not just going all out, moving weight. I feel like when I do that, it's just like my hips and my knees hurt.
Yeah.
And if I lighten it up and actually focus on it, like my quads and everything that I want to be sore will be just, you know, rocked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that sounds like a cop out or not, but
No, it doesn't. Cause I just said to Paul, actually, my training partner, I squatted that 500 and I wasn't sore after, like the day after I wasn't sore.
But then at the same time I struggle because I'm like, you know, I think it's important to move weight, you know, or at least have the ability to. So
yeah.
Even if you don't do it, if you're strong enough to be able to do it, then that's important. So I don't know. It's a tough thing. Jay probably has some good insight on this.
I'm gonna fill you guys in on something that probably the world does not know.
Okay.
I was a big squatter in my teenage years. I had big legs. It was the first body part I actually progressed in. And I used to squat up to 500 pounds for reps pretty consistently. I can tell you from the time that people started really following me close by 2003, I never put 500 pounds on a squat bar ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Till I retired. Yeah. So when people think, oh, how much weight do you need to squat? I remember people coming to me up at expos and, you know, shows and saying, you know, you got to catch Ronnie. You need to squat as much as him. You know, he was squatting pretty much 600 for reps. Mm-hmm. I many times. But I never did over 405 for reps. I did everything 12s. And if you follow like the training that I did more volume. So I was kind of a short rest period guy. So I'd only rest 45 to 60 seconds each set. So for me, it was really hard to, you know, squat 405 for 12 reps and then rest under a minute the next set. And I focused more on front squats as I got deeper in my career because it seemed to work better for me. It was less pressure on the lower spine and it just seemed to work. And, you know, my legs are genetic anyway. So that was one of the fortunate things. So if someone asked me, hey, how do I get bigger legs? I would be lying if I said it wasn't somewhat genetic, right? Yeah. But I do attribute a lot of the early years squatting. I used to squat on a 2x4 on my heels, and that's how I developed more of my legs.
Do you think, I know me and Evan have talked about this before, Jay, how much do you think soreness plays a part in whether your workout was good for you or not, or beneficial?
The only way I judged my workouts, how productive they were, is how sore I was. And I don't know if that's right or wrong. Yeah. And you may have different insight on that. But if I was not sore, then I wasn't training hard enough or not enough volume or eating properly.
Yeah. I've always felt that way too. And that's what I mean about the 500 I squatted. The week before, I used a Smith machine with 4 plates and my legs were sore for like 3 or 4 days. And this week it was like, I kind of sore a little bit the next day and that's it. And I'm like, okay, something's not right. So, but do you believe you can be too sore for too long?
I mean, listen, I would be sore. If I did legs, I couldn't sit in the toilet 2 days after. Tough, right?
Yeah.
And I would literally, by the time I trained my legs every 5 to 7 days, the soreness just got over the day prior. And that was through most of my successful career.
See, that's how I was too. Evan, were you kind of like that or no?
Yeah, but I would go through periods where like things were like really firing in my body. Like my recovery was like crazy. So I'd go in and I'd have like a record workout doing big weight for big reps and, you know, training for like, you know, a long time. Yeah. And I'd be sore, but then I'd be over it in a couple of days. And it was, I don't know, it was so much an indication that my training wasn't adequate, but just that like shit was working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nutrition, everything was on.
I found that happened to me more when I was prepping. When I was getting ready for a show, my soreness seemed to go away faster. And it always felt like everything was working a lot better.
like in off seasons, like where I would strike that exact thing I was talking about, moving big weight, big reps, long workouts, getting sore but recovering quick, man, like the progress I would, like every workout weight would be going up and up and up, and it just like everything was working. In times for me when I was maybe staying sore for a long time, either I was just, I guess, really just had that killer of a workout, or maybe something wasn't totally on for me with nutrition or whatever it was. And I might like kind of just move sideways with my training rather than like things going up and up and up and up.
Yeah. Jay, do you think there's something lost on today's like lifter? Because nowadays, if you're sore for 6 days, people will tell you that's horrible and that you did something wrong.
Yeah. And I think that we still are avoiding the therapy that is necessary. And you and I have spoken this before because we talked about the therapy that we've gone through, right? And I mean tissue therapy.
Yeah.
I literally would spend 6 hours a week with tissue work, and I would work with different people to keep the fascia loose. And I think, a functioning muscle is always more productive. So I can't stress enough. And I don't think today there's as many great therapists out there. Like if you ask me today, hey, I'm coming to Vegas, do you have a good therapist? I just don't have one at this point, that gets in there and really, really does the fascia stretching and the recovery. That's how the muscle is going to recover. So, if you follow other sports like a LeBron James, he spends so much money to put his body in tune. Like that's literally what I did. And fortunately, I was one of the guys that could financially support that.
Yeah.
So when we talk about winning Olympias, how much it costs. I mean, it pretty much, I was putting everything into the show each year that I was winning to really make sure my body, and that's hence why I think today that I'm able to function the way that I am. I don't go as deep in the therapy because I'm not training, even 50% of what I was.
Yeah.
I mean, but I just think, that's lost. I think there's too much information out there, and you guys may agree or disagree, that people just don't even know what approach to take at this point.
Yeah. We tell people, I always try and preach to keep things simple, but it's hard to keep things simple when there's 18 different strategies kind of being thrown at people at one time. So
yeah, like there's a lot of training methods out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a name to them, right? I mean, and that's kind of where it's confusing.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, because we talk about a lot of different things on the podcast, and your name comes up quite a bit, not in a bad way, but how is it that, we see people retire all the time. You've maintained like a really healthy physique. I know you mentioned the therapy, but is there something else that has kept you looking good, this far after your career?
Consistency, like food, training, still do cardio, genetics. Let's not forget genetics. People talk about what are genetics.
Yeah.
I think genetics, they look at, Phil Heath has genetics. There's a lot more of like, hey, we stay leaner, or, I think Evan's that case. I mean, I think that he's kind of figured out the formula where, he might say he's small, but I don't know what small in this era is like to Evan, but smaller is a better term. But I think you have to have a lot of things. It's a pattern of what 20 years of training and carrying a certain amount of muscle. The metabolism set at a different speed than the norm.
Yeah.
Nothing is drug induced at this point. It's just, pretty much I'm a lot weaker. I train consistent. I'm on day 52 today in a row that I've trained with weights. I have not taken a day off in 52 days.
Really?
Yeah. And that's against protocol, right?
Why is that? What is that? Like, what is the purpose? Just because?
Just because, I ran into a rut and I changed, what times I trained, and I started getting up earlier. I started getting different foods in, and I kind of just haven't taken any days off since. I'm challenging myself, and, I won't train and push myself to any failure of any sets, but, I just finished a chest workout and calves right now, and I train 7 days a week.
Wow. I got to ask you this. So I wanted to bring you guys both on to discuss the Olympia and the guys and the placings and all that. But Jay, I got to ask you this because it came up in a previous podcast. I was talking about being like half retired and missing the Olympia and, wanting to be there and wanting to try and get on stage there and all that. I can't tell which school of thought, and I want you to kind of fill me in. Is it like I've won all the Olympias and I'm cool, I got what I want and I'm good? Or when it comes around this time, are you kind of like, yeah, I kind of miss it?
Very satisfied. And there's no, the missing is, and I mentioned this, I think, I don't know if I did an interview, I did a prior interview, and I said, the only thing I miss about that Olympia stage is the cheers when they the name, or there's nothing about the preparation besides, like, I loved the consistency of the days. Like, it was like, wake up, cardio, eat meal one, train, and then I'd have the days off. And it was just so in tune with, you knew what to expect, right? Mm-hmm. And with my life now, it's a little all over the place. And that would happen even off season. But I can truly say, like, I wanted 5. Okay. Mm-hmm. But if you watch and see my reaction, whether I won or lost, there was no difference. Like, when I lost to Dexter, I was happy for Dexter. And when I lost to Phil, I was happy for him. And, when I was 15 out of 16, I wasn't so happy. Right. So once I got to the top, it was like, man, I made it. But at the same time, it was a privilege, right? It was a privilege to be there. I never expected to be there. Evan kind of can understand where I come from, and I think you kind of live in a similar place. But listen, I come from a super small place. No one ever leaves. My expectations, I was an introvert. I was basically a hermit the same way. I call myself a hermit, even though you see a lot that I travel. But right now I'm enjoying being home. Mm-hmm. FaceTime means a lot, like, in our industry. So I think I don't miss it. I don't miss it because I feel satisfied. I'm one of these guys. I finished, 4 victories, a lot of second places. I had ups and downs, but I walked away pretty satisfied.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
It's okay. So when you say this came up actually at a different point, when you say you missed the cheers, I said that too, because I haven't competed since 2017. And when I said it, I felt like it was a vain statement to make. Is it wrong to say that? Because I feel that way too.
No, it's not wrong. I mean, people can't grasp it, but it's a personal preference. I mean, the Olympia is the pinnacle, but when you've been there and you've done it, and like I mentioned, things become more relevant in your life than training for a contest, right?
Yeah. Evan, are you going to miss? When was the last time you competed?
I think it was 2016. Has
it been that long?
Yeah.
I thought I had the longest running hiatus.
No, 16.
Do you miss the cheers, or you don't care about that shit, do you? Or do you miss that cheers?
I mean, hey, look, it's certainly nice to be cheered for. It's nice to be sought after. It's nice to be wanted and applauded. Sure, those are all nice things. Absolutely. But I don't know. It's nice, but it's so easy for me, I feel like, to get wrapped up in something that I just find satisfying, and that could be like a lot of things. So I guess I don't really stop to think about it. I mean, dude, like, it's nice winning, right? I mean, that's a hell of a feeling. You know, you go win a show, you win the whole fucking thing. I mean, that's that's a hell of a feeling. That's big.
Yeah. Well,
and it doesn't matter if it's an amateur show, a pro show. It's really kind of all the same feeling. Granted, I've never won an Arnold or an Olympia, so I can't say that it's all the same. But, any show I ever won kind of had a similar, really the same feeling. And it's a hell of a feeling, no doubt. But yeah, I'm not like, man, I don't know. I never thought about it really until you asked me. So,
well, I don't mean like it's depressing, but I just mean, like, when I was thinking about retiring, somebody asked me, what are you going to miss? And I was like, nobody will ever cheer for me again. like there's never going to be a job I do from here on out where people all stand around and cheer for me.
Well, maybe not in the literal sense, but I mean, look at what you're doing right now. You have a podcast that's very successful, and people love it, and people are asking for it. When's the next episode? Who's on? Oh, that one was great. So I mean, people are cheering for you. So it's just really in a different form.
But it's not the same as when you're in your underwear and you're on stage and everyone's standing there, sitting there cheering. It's totally different. But I get what you're saying.
I bet you if you did your podcast in your underwear, you'd have a lot of guys cheering for you.
Well, you know what? Jay can answer that one question that you brought up. Are all the victories, like, is the feeling all the same?
I'd like to know that.
Is there different levels? Because I kind of understand what you're saying, Evan, but the Olympia being the very top, is it a different thing when you win everything?
It's a great question. There's been a couple big, I mean, I'd have to say, because it was more relevant in my mind, 09 is like top because I was gone and in everyone's mind finished, and I came back to win it after losing, and no one's ever done it. There's just a lot that went into that. And there's a lot behind the scenes. And I think I can speak for the way I view Evan, to go back a little bit to the question you asked him. I think he loves the training, like the gym. And I can promise you the gym was more like, that was what I missed. And I'm still in the gym every day. That, I think we just answered the kind of both questions, but like, I love training, but I did the getting up there and having judges say, okay, well, you're good enough to be the best or not to be, right? Mm-hmm. That didn't really excite me as much. That's why the fan appeal meant a lot to me. But I think the victories, like, of course, winning the big one is huge. Winning an Arnold Classic's gigantic. Winning the Tournament of Champions to qualify me for the Nationals before I got my pro card was one of my biggest, because that's like, okay, I arrived, I'm accepted. And that's where it kind of all started for me at 22 years old. And I mean, there's so many. And so it's hard to say. I know a lot of Mr. Olympias say, oh, they missed the first time. But to be honest, the first time I felt bad for Ronnie, because it was like his record, right?
Yeah.
I took it, and then I wasn't sure how he was going to react. And if you recall, he didn't really take it that well. There was a lot of, and it's funny, when I listened to Dexter Jackson interview yesterday, and he said the show he thinks that made him the most angry was the show that Evan beat him.
Oh, that was the Flex Pro.
Yeah,
that was my highlight reel. But Dexter wasn't, and not to, Dexter's an amazing bodybuilder, but
that he wasn't his best. But at the same time, I got beat, and really thought walking in that show, who's going to beat me, right? And Evan stepped up and won. So there's certain shows that I can't tell. I mean, there were shows that I was down 07 Olympia, where Victor was controversial. That was that was probably the most, I won the show, but I was probably felt the most rejected there ever. Yeah. Including when I was 15,
So that was probably your lowest win, you would say?
My lowest show.
Your lowest show. Wow.
The lowest, and I won, but I felt like the world was against me,
Yeah. But so is there a difference between winning an Olympia and winning an Arnold? And winning a regular, like, just every day, like all the other shows?
Yes, for me, because I was second 4 times to Ronnie before I won the Olympia.
Yeah.
When I won the Arnold, you got to understand, I went 99, I got 4th. And the next one I did was 2002, and I won 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. But I was at the Olympia, so it was like I couldn't get this Olympia win. And then finally, when I did, it solidified it, and that was just a little more of a struggle than going to the Arnold and kind of winning, straight out of the gate.
Yeah. So turning to this year's Olympia, do you guys, I look at the show, and I don't know if it's because I'm involved on the podcast and I talk to all these guys now, but it seems like it's really exciting. Like, there's a lot of jostling for position, and it seems like a lot of the guys are very close, and could kind of change positions anywhere. You know what I mean? It's not one of those shows where you can go, this guy's going to be first, second, third, whatever. So what do you guys think about the placings, and should we start? We'll just start at the very top. Evan, what do you think? Do you think Brandon can retain the title? Do you think Phil will overtake him, or do you think somebody else will jump in and shock everybody?
I think Brandon certainly can retain the title, but I would say if Phil has done all the things he's supposed to, that he should have done, and barring any kind of injury or something that prevented him from training the way he was supposed to, if he's been ticking all the boxes, yeah, I mean, Phil should probably be the one to win. But I mean, I guess, in all fairness, I'm sure Brandon's been really going to town as well. I mean, at least some of the pictures I've seen.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, Phil, giving Phil, I think, the respect that he deserves as a, how many times has Phil won? 5?
Seven, isn't it?
7?
Isn't he won 7, Jay?
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, so affording him the respect that he deserves. Yeah. I mean, of course, I would say it's probably his to lose. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but
What do you think, Jay?
I've said Phil Heath all along, but as we get a little closer now, it's like, Brandon's the returning, and, there's a lot of confidence flying around right now this is only people that have airtime right now, between Dexter, Brandon, and Phil Heath, right? Like those guys have been on camera, and they all seem confident, like, hey, I'm going to win this thing. So I would, a smart bet would be Phil Heath, but also Brandon, it's like, I don't want to disrespect that, because he did win last year, and he's going to come back, I'm sure, better than last year. And yeah. I just don't know if Phil Heath can be the same Phil Heath that we expect him to be. I think we're expecting Phil Heath to be like totally revamped and be something that maybe, I think we're over expecting it. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But like I said, even his off has won him a lot of Olympias. He was still better than everyone else, being not 100%. So I go with Evan and say, the kind of the easy, to be right about it, I think it would be on Phil Heath. I mean, he's won it 7 times in a row, right?
If Brandon builds up his legs, though, I do feel like I think he could give Phil a really tough time. Like, I think he could beat Phil if his legs are just a little bit bigger, maybe from the back especially. You guys agree or no?
I mean, I think Phil from behind is
that's true. That's true too.
Really, really tremendous.
Yeah.
Phil has really beaten some pretty large bodybuilders.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's certainly possible, but I think Phil is routinely underestimated and viewed as not a big bodybuilder, and maybe technically speaking, he's not as big as some of the bigger guys. But standing next to him, he never looks outsized.
Yeah.
And I guess if we're going to say, okay, Brandon isn't necessarily a real. Yes, he's big. Of course, he's huge. But in terms of, sheer numbers and sheer size, he's traditionally not one of the bigger bodybuilders.
Yeah.
So if you're going to put him in the same category as Phil, both of them being not a bigger bodybuilder, Phil is still the more dramatic, much more dramatic. I mean, Phil has a very dramatic physique.
Yeah. Jay, would you agree with that?
Yeah. And I'm just going to make one statement. I think it's just clear cut. We've always talked about Brandon Curry's potential, but has anyone ever not said his legs just need to improve a little bit, right? It's always been the fact with his upper body, massive legs need to improve. I just hard to believe in a year's time that his legs are going to be that improved to dominate over Phil Heath from the back shots.
Yeah. I think the one thing you said, Evan, that stands out that I actually didn't consider is Phil has beaten guys that were big. Like Kai was probably a lot more muscular than Phil, but Phil took him out a few times. So,
I mean, there's been bodybuilders that are bigger than Phil. They're bigger bodybuilders.
Yeah.
But next to Phil, it never really looked that way. So, I mean, that says a lot.
What about, so we'll move on. What about a dark horse? Like I've seen, Big Ramy looks like he's going to do something this year. Are we discounting the fact that he is the biggest guy in the show? Jay?
Is he the biggest guy?
I mean, I would say so.
I mean, Rolly's comparable to him, I think. If you stood him and Rolly next to each other, that's a pretty good showdown, except Rolly's legs aren't as powerful, but I think legs are too big. So
I agree.
Yeah, so I think Dexter's right. He talks about balance, and that's where Dexter and Bonnick and all these guys can beat the guys with the big body parts that don't have the flow as much. And I think, we've been talking about seeing Ramy since 2013 hit it right, and we've just been waiting. And I mean, I hope he hits it 100%. I'd love to see that showdown, but man, I don't know.
Evan, you think?
I mean, for me, Ramy. I mean, the year he won New York, and I was in the audience, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, he was really, really impressive. And he's been impressive each time out since, of course. But this is going to sound, I don't know if this sounds ridiculous or not. I think his legs are so crazy looking. They're so big that I think it almost throws something off.
Yeah.
Because for a guy who's as big as, I mean, Ramy's huge, right? He's going to be Rolly's also pretty freaking massive. But Ramy's probably the biggest dude on that stage. And I guess pound for pound, like if you look at it, right, Dexter's probably the biggest guy pound for pound, meaning like he kind of gives you the most bang for your buck. Because
you mean he creates the best illusion? Yeah.
In terms of what he actually weighs versus how he looks, he probably gives you the most bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Ramy, on the other hand, for being that massive, and I'm not saying this as any kind of slight against him or anything like that, but if he outweighs somebody by 30, 40 pounds, it doesn't really come across that way. It doesn't really translate. You're not like, oh my God, look at that guy. He's dwarfing and destroying everybody. And I don't know what the reason is for that.
I was just going to say, is that a conditioning thing? Like if he finally does get that extra bit that everybody's looking for, do you think that's where that muscle will kind of shine the way it's supposed to?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I look back at older photos of some of the guys, and I know they weren't even weighing in it that much. I don't know, like a guy like, say, Mike Francois, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was big, he was thick, but he looked really powerful.
Yeah.
And you see some guys compete, and I mean, to me, Ramy's big, he's ripped, he's all these things, but still for some reason the physique doesn't look powerful.
Yeah.
I
see what you mean.
And I think to be a bigger guy, Bonac, right? Is what is he, 5'5"?
Yeah, he's a shorter guy. I don't know.
He looks powerful. Like his physique really looks powerful.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not even sure what it is I'm trying to articulate, but
I would argue Bonac looks that way because of the detail. I feel like Jay. Why do you think Ramy gets such a hard? He really gets crucified by the public. I mean, the guy wasn't he second place at the Olympia one year or third at best?
He was second, but he just lacks the detail. I think that some of these other guys, the tie-ins, it's just different. When you have there's more to look at, so you expect more to happen when you look at a bigger body like that, right? And he's kind of like odd guy out when you put him in the mix with a Bonnick and a Phil Heath and Dexter Jackson and. Bonnick's the most dangerous guy in this contest because he's the closest thing to Phil Heath we see on that stage, meaning his muscle is round and it pops. A lot happens when he poses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his front double's probably his weakest shot, but everything else, I mean, the guy's round. I mean, if his legs are back to par they were 2 years ago, I mean, remember, him and Curry went back and forth, and it was very questionable the last time. And he was second last year. No one's talking about him because I don't know where he is. But he's dangerous.
So what does that mean? Do you have Phil in first? Obviously, this is what we just got. Do you have Brandon second, or do you have Bonac in second?
I think Brandon pushed it. I mean, both those guys are going to push the spots. I think it ends up similar to last year, but Phil Heath joins the mix, and I don't know about Chupin because I don't know if he's coming or not.
Let's assume he's coming just for the show.
Yeah, I still think Bonnick, has to get. I have to give Bonnet the respect. He's been knocking that door too many times. He's got too much going on in his physique. I think it's still early for Hadi. He's hard as nails, but not as much rolls when he poses, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But he's hard. He's impressive. But Bonnet just has, he definitely has some from the back shots and stuff. A lot more stuff going on, I think.
So far we got Phil, Brandon, and then Bonac. Evan, would you agree with that?
Yep, I agree.
Really? I'm going to disagree with both of you. I think Rami's going to be in the top 3. I don't know where in the top 3, but I think he's going to. I have a feeling this year is going to be different. I don't know why. I just think he's taken enough abuse that he's going to do something different this year. So
maybe Bonac, Phil, even Hadi. The dude just looks so crazy.
Hadi looks crazy. So
he just looks so nutty looking.
So okay, so you guys haven't placed Rami yet. So does that mean Hadi is 4th or is Rami 4th? Jay?
Dude, I don't want to disrespect Dexter either, man.
I forgot about Dexter.
Dexter's a strike. Very confident right now. And like the guy's 4th last year, right? 4th or 5th? He was 4th, right?
Yeah.
He's always there. So if we don't put him in the top 5, we're gonna get scolded for that because he's dangerous. I don't know what's up with. Listen. I'm just gonna go with this. Rami's legs are still too big. Okay, so to me, I'm with Evan on that. It's not something. It just looks a little funky to me unless he downsizes his legs.
So Hadi. Oh, we can't say Hadi 4th because we're saying Dexter. Are you saying is Dexter ahead of Hadi, Evan?
If I say no to that, Dexter will make a liar out of you. Like he will. You know it too, right?
I like that though. You know what? I actually like that because I'm rooting for Dexter to crush it. So even if I'm wrong, I'll still be happy.
The second you count that dude out, like he's gonna show up and like win the whole show. So it's so hard to say. It's just fucking impossible to say. I mean, look, based on his record, yeah. Okay, yes, Dexter beats Hadi, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but Fouad, remember, Dexter beat Rami at the Arnold, last year, right? And Rami was pretty good there, I thought.
Yeah, he was. He's always missing something. That's the problem. But I think I'm not implying anything by saying this, but I'm going to ask you guys both. Is age ever going to catch up to Dexter? Like at some point, is he going to come on stage and people are going to like, okay, finally he's, a little bit, he's not the Dexter he was before.
Well, it's got to happen eventually, but you just keep thinking it's going to happen and it never does.
I know.
I think it happened one year. He came in and he got 7th. What was that?
I don't know. I remember a couple years ago.
He got 2nd 15, right? To Phil Heath. So I think in 16, I think, or 17th, he got like 7th. And that's when age caught him. And then he found the newbie machine with Brad Rowe.
Yeah. That changed everything.
Evan probably knows nothing about this because Evan doesn't follow anything, but
newbie?
You never heard of that?
Newbie, it's like something you call someone he's like a rookie or something.
No, it's not.
What's a newbie machine?
Well, that's also a newbie, but this is different. This is it's like electrostim on the muscle while you train, right, Jay? Or is there more to it? Yeah, so basically, it's like your TENS machine that you use for therapy, but obviously it's a little different, and they put it on the muscle you're training, and you use it while you're training.
This will help me.
Apparently, it helps because Dexter came back looking like 10 years younger.
How much? How much I have to pay for it?
It's like $30,000 for that fucking machine.
Oh, forget it.
What's that, Jay?
It's $18,000.
Oh, it's $18,000. Sorry. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad, Evan. You just put in $18,000 and win the Arnold, you get the money back.
I could buy a new John Deere with $18,000.
You and your fucking. How many lawnmowers are you going to buy?
My dad of John Deere's, Evan, in Sterling over there.
Yeah, he still has a bunch of equipment.
He collected them, man. Every time I turn around, there was one coming on a trailer home.
So you understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
I need to understand. So I get that you like old shit. I've gathered that. But why the lawnmowers? And how many are you going to buy before you're good? Is it like a collectibles thing?
Because you have to understand something. I don't have the money to go buy, like, big money stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I make cheap fun for myself. Right? So like I can't drive around in
So you can't buy a Ferrari, so you buy a lawnmower.
I can't buy a Ferrari, so I'm the king of John Deere.
Oh, I get it. Okay. How much does a John Deere cost?
Like $1,000.
Okay.
If you get one that needs work.
How many do you got?
3.
You have 3. Are they?
3.
Do you use all of them, or are 2 of them like collectible?
No, absolutely.
You use all of them.
I got a plow on one, a blower on the other, and the third one I cut my grass with.
Okay. Are you going to order more, or are we done? Is it just 3?
If I come across a bigger diesel, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Going back. So Dexter 4th, Hottie 5th.
I don't know. I don't think Hottie's going to show up.
Okay. What if he doesn't show up? Then we putting Rami in 5th? Because you got Rami, you got Rolly. Does Rolly beat Rami? I think Rami can beat Rolly.
That's
if Rolly's sharp, I think Rolly could beat Rami too.
But I think Rolly's leg size hurts him, and he'll be standing next to Rami, who has massive legs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jay?
Yeah, I think it's tough. It could go back and forth,
No commitment from either of you.
Rolly, assuming both of them are in shape.
Yes.
I don't know. There's something wackier to me about Rolly's physique.
Okay. So
Rolly here.
What's that, Jay?
Rolly was 3rd one year, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. I think, it could go either way between those two. That's what I would hate to call. It's really going to come down to how the condition is, because I picked Rolly to win the whole show last year, just so you know.
Did you really?
Yeah, pre-Olympia, yes, because he was, he came off an Arnold Australia victory, and he seemed to find the formula, but, of course, these pictures, they're a little deceiving now, and, that's the problem with these pre-Olympia pictures.
Yeah.
You never look, right?
Yeah. Yeah, moving into the next group is also like pretty hard to start picking, because then the next group you have, I always put them in 2 groups. I don't know why, but anyway, the next guys you're starting to talk about Hunter and Ian, Antoine, Reagan, Justin Rodriguez, Akeem, Juan Morel, all these guys. So where do you guys think like a Hunter Ian fit?
I don't know.
I'm going to say Hunter's rate. He's the closest of that. I think of that pack. You know what? I may surprise you, but I think Antoine's going to fare well in this lineup too, because he's thick as hell in certain body parts.
Yeah, I think Antoine's.
And both him and Hunter too have a little bit of a fresher look, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Antoine figured out the formula when in California when he beat Max. He looked big and full, and he looked, striated everywhere. So.
Yeah, and Antoine's a lot bigger than people realize.
He is. He's a big guy, but he's also got a massive frame. So I don't know if he's going to fill it out the way a Hunter does. You know what I mean? So
I think Hunter's going to do really well. He has kind of that similar physique of a guy. Here we are talking about, kind of like smaller bodybuilders that are really dramatic, and that's Hunter. So I don't know. He probably would do really well in this lineup.
Yeah, but Akeem would do really well there too, I think, in those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Akeem's a massive dude, and he's really found his conditioning. So is Akeem, Akeem could be up there with, Rami. He could stand next to Rami in muscularity.
Yeah.
So I mean, could Akeem shock all those guys and be in the 5, 6, 7 spot?
He could, yeah.
So we're going to put Akeem ahead of all those. So I'm trying to place everybody, guys. You got to help me. Okay, so Akeem, then Hunter and Ian. Who do you have over Hunter and Ian in between those two?
Hunter.
Jay?
Yeah, I haven't seen Ian compete enough, like, to know, okay, what's his best, you know?
Yeah.
He lost to Hunter, right? And
Yeah.
I just think a little hype train with him too, and sometimes that makes a difference because he's a shape guy, right? And I think Ian potentially can be massive. He can still get a lot bigger, I think, round. And it really comes down to, okay, what conditions are you going to bring in more detail, right? I just think Hunter still has a little more detail at this point.
So then between Akeem, Ian, and Antoine.
No, wait a minute. You guys put Akeem ahead of Hunter already.
Okay.
So if we put Akeem, that's what you guys said. I'm not saying that.
No. Wait a minute. Where's Dexter?
I said that. We said that Akeem could leapfrog all these guys, but I'm not gonna. I picked Hunter to be top, possibly to the one to break into top 6 because I think he just has the combination. But I still have, you know, the Rolly, Rami like 5th, 6, right?
Yeah. So Hunter 7, and then we say Akeem or Hunter 7, and then we got to go. Where does Antoine fit? Does Antoine beat Akeem or Hunter?
That's tough. It depends on the calls. I think you know, that's where the size, you know, of those guys and they've been there before type thing, you know. Hunter hasn't been there, but I think that he, like I said,
the thickness.
Yeah.
Evan, what do you think?
So you have Dexter winning.
What?
Akeem is in 3rd. I don't know. I gotta write this down. I'm confused.
All right,
this is exactly as you started the show and said these guys are very close.
Yeah, okay, I know. But that's why. But this is why I have 2 experts. You know, Jay, you're the bodybuilder's bodybuilder, and Evan, you're the methodical one. So I brought the 2 experts on the show to help people hash this out. And really,
I need a pen and a paper.
I'll figure out I'll line up the placings for you. Don't worry. You just.
Yeah, but remember, I asked to come on here. You'd never asked me.
You didn't even invite Jay?
Well, I was gonna, and then I saw that he was on RX, and I was like, well, people here probably already said everything everybody wants to hear, so he's not going to want to come on my show after.
So first he invites you to his house. You tell him, no, I'm not coming. Then you don't invite him on your show.
Okay, in my defense, I've asked him. I asked him the first and the second time he came on the show.
Okay.
Yeah, so I made and I publicly apologized for the fucking not coming to the house thing, Evan. So don't try and like make it worse.
I'm gonna make it stick a little more. I think you could have won the Mr. Olympia by now if you would have came out and trained with me that time.
Oh, here we go. That's complete nonsense. But I probably would have been a better bodybuilder. That I'll give you. Okay, I'm going to write these down. So we have Phil first. We have Brandon second.
Yep.
We have Dexter third. We have Bonac fourth.
I said Bonac, but we'll let it's Bonac Dexter, I think.
And we don't know if Hottie's coming.
Yeah, so we'll just we'll just leave that out for now. But we'll say fifth is Rami or Rolly.
Yep.
We'll say 5th is Rami.
Rami, then Rolly.
Then we're saying 7th is Hunter.
Yep.
Then we're gonna say 8th is Akeem, Antoine, or Ian.
Antoine. I'm gonna say Antoine. Screw it. I'm gonna say Antoine.
But don't forget, there's Juan Morel, Justin Rodriguez, Max Charles, Lucas Osladil.
Yep. I'm gonna put Antoine ahead of all of them.
Okay, Antoine 8th.
Then Akeem.
Akeem 9th. You think Antoine could beat Akeem, eh? All the muscle Akeem carries, and it's going to be peeled.
if Akeem is really peeled, then Akeem could jump several spots.
What do you think,
Antoine
Jay?
looked really good at that last win.
Yeah, he did. What do you think, Jay?
Listen, I'm close to Antoine, and he just sent me a picture today, and he is looking pretty good. And I don't know, with Akeem, it's tough because, you know, he was he in the top 10 last year? Yeah, right?
I don't remember. I know he just won Chicago and he looked amazing.
Yeah, he did look amazing. It's just sometimes he gets a little washed out in those lights, you know, the condition don't go as much.
Yeah.
You know, pound for pound, it's going to be tough for any of those guys to beat Akeem. He is a wild card. Like, he could really mix this up. I'm not going to say he's going to get second or third, but I think that guy can be anywhere from fourth to, you know, eighth or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. So we're going to put Akeem in ninth for now, just for the sake of moving on. Then are we putting Ian in 10th?
Yes.
Jay?
Yeah, I think between him and
Juan and Justin.
There's also Regan and Juan Morel and Justin. He already beat Justin in New York.
Yeah. I think it's him and Justin go back to, like, I think that goes back. So it's him, Justin.
So Ian, Justin's 11. Regan or Juan?
I would say Juan.
Evan?
Yeah, I agree. Juan.
12. Juan. It's crazy to think Juan is 12th. Wasn't he 7th one year?
Yep.
And then we're putting Regan over Max.
You know, Max was pretty good too. I mean,
yeah, I think Regan's good. I just think he's going to get outsized here.
Yeah, I think Regan's back is his best body part, though, and that's Max's worst body part. So I feel like that could be a game changer for Regan over Max.
Yeah, Max is hard as nails, though, Fouad, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, that six-pack that's fucking peeled and his chest is striated is like really, when they first come out, it's really impressive to see him standing there. By the time he turns around, you kind of already have him in a certain spot. So are we saying Max then, 13?
Yeah.
Max, 13. Regan over Lucas Osladil?
Yes.
Jay?
I listen, I don't know with Lucas.
Lucas is peeled out of his mind all the time.
Yeah. You.
Was it?
What's that, Jay?
I just don't want to put Regan last, you know, but
well, there's still Chael Soon or whatever, the guy from Korea.
Yeah,
I don't even know how he looks, you know.
He's got a good physique, actually. He's got a good physique.
Wait, who? Chul Soon?
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce. I don't know how you pronounce it for sure, but I think it's Chael Soon or Chul Soon. I don't know.
He's pretty big.
Thick, yeah, he's thick,
and he's got a freaking great physique.
Yeah, if he's shredded, he could be like 8.
Like he has like a great physique.
Yeah, he does.
I worked with him for a little bit. If it's the guy I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he's got an amazing physique, and he's thick, and he's like very well proportioned.
And he's big too.
Yeah.
And he's thick.
You said that already.
and he's well proportioned.
I'm like, are you fucking with me, or are you just? I'm like, how long are we going to do this for before you fucking...
I'm just going to keep going.
I was going to keep going too, and I'm like, no, okay, so... Anyway, that guy, if he's shredded and they give him an honest look, he could really, like, pull ahead of some people.
He's our guy.
He's our guy? Is that what we're saying? All right. We're going to put Regan, so Chael Soon and then Regan?
I hate to say it, but yeah.
Okay.
He's thick.
You know Regan's gonna be pissed, right? When he watches.
You know Chul is thick.
Are you done now?
Okay, fine, I'm done.
Okay. He's also round. He's round. His proportions.
He's a lot bigger than you think.
Okay. Moving on. So we have our top 15. I think that's all the guys. I hope I didn't forget anybody. If I did, I apologize. 212. Guy Cisternino is your good friend, Jay. Where is Guy going to place?
I hadn't yet to see that. I need to be reminded. I know that
there's Muhammad, or not Muhammad. What's his name? Ashkenani. I think it's Muhammad. I don't know his first name. Ashkenani. There's Derek
Lunsford.
Derek Lunsford. There's Sean Clarita. There's Kamal. Kamal won last year. Kamal actually looks a little thicker in recent photos that I've seen. I think he did some work with. I think he trained a little bit with Flex Lewis. So.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. You already talked about the top 4, I think, with all those guys. I mean,
but who do you think? Do you think Derek can win the show finally? Do you think he's been second 2 years in a row now?
I mean, he's got the best body up there, but I just don't know if he can put it all together. I mean, Kamal's the returning, and he looks unbelievable because I saw pictures of him recently.
Really? Yeah.
Here, so, and he's already in crazy shape, so he's not going to be out of shape. I think he repeats, to be honest, if it's the way it is right now.
There's also George Peterson. I forgot about him.
He's dangerous.
George scares me. Like, I think, well, not scares me, but I mean, like, I think he's going to shock a lot of people. Where do you think George will place, Evan? Think George can beat Derek and Kamal?
I see Kamal winning again.
Mm-hmm.
He's just crazy dense and dramatic looking, and there's just something about it when, like Derek, like last year, right? I'm looking at it and I said, well, geez, Derek's peeled everywhere. He's not, it's not like I can say his conditioning wasn't on. He's got great shape. Hell, I mean, he's even got a good haircut. He looks good.
Yeah.
He looks really good.
Yeah.
But something about it next to Kamal wins. Do I think George, tough, man, because George comes in shape too. I think Derek's shape might pull him ahead of George. He's certainly got a prettier physique, no doubt. And he also comes to, it's not like Derek's going to come in out of shape. At least I don't see that.
Yeah. There's Sean Clarita. Sean Clarita was third last year.
Sean is the Dexter of the 212. Like,
no,
you can
Kamal. Isn't Kamal like 49 years old?
No, I don't mean it from an age perspective. I mean that you count that dude out, and he will make you look like an idiot every time.
Yeah.
Because that dude just keeps busting his ass and improving, and he looks.
Yeah.
There's a guy. He'll weigh, I don't know what he weighs, but he looks probably 50 pounds bigger than what he weighs. I mean, he's really good.
Yeah. Jay, is Kamal like 50 years old?
He's 50.
He's 50? Isn't that insane? I don't know how he looks. His muscle looks clean, healthy, no tears, no nothing. So where does that put Guy then? Is Guy going to be 5th? 4th? 5th? Jay?
It's going to be a tough top 6 for Guy, I think.
Yeah.
Because you got Oscar Nani, you have George Peterson, you have Kamal Lunsford, and Kamal. Who else am I missing?
Yeah,
Clarita.
Yeah.
Clarita. I think George Peterson gets 3rd. I think Clarita gets 4th.
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah.
I just think Peterson has momentum that's coming from 3rd place, classic, 3 years in a row, 2 years in a row. Wins
Tampa Bay.
212,
Yeah.
He's got the back.
Yeah, his conditioning's really good too.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's a little tall for the class, but I don't know. Oscar Nani's been 2nd before. I mean, you don't know what he's going to look like. So how many is that? If you have Kamal, you have.
If you add Ashkenani, that's 5.
Yeah.
That pushes Guy.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not gonna keep you guys any longer. We've been on for an hour. I've been badgering you with these placings, but I'm gonna ask you the most important questions. I saved them for the end. Where does the best Evan Centopani place in this lineup?
Like when I was at my best?
Yeah, and peak Evan Centopani, his very best prime. Where do you fit in this lineup?
Jeez, I don't know.
Who is this guy?
Are you talking to me?
No, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was like,
Jay would be better able to say because
I was gonna
he's seen me.
you know what? Let's ask Jay first, so he doesn't have time to figure out a diplomatic answer. Where does the best Jay Cutler place in this lineup?
No, I want Jay to say where I would place.
No, I want Jay to say where Jay's gonna place first.
I want Jay to say where Chul Soon is gonna place.
I would listen. Me at my prime would still beat all these guys, I think.
Yeah.
Because of the width factor, right? I mean, that's the thing. Phil Heath's amazing, but
yeah,
talk about, the width. It makes a difference,
Which year do you think? Because I would say 2001, but I think you would probably say 2009.
Yeah, I mean, both those years, I think,
Yeah. What do you think, Evan, about Jay?
01 Jay destroys everybody. Easy.
Yeah, that's my favorite Jay. Okay, Evan, we're back to you. Come on, man, just play the game. It's okay. You're not going to offend anybody.
I don't know. I mean, I think I'd beat Hunter. Where's Hunter?
Seventh.
Top 6 he would be in if that's the case.
Yeah, that means.
I don't know. Maybe top 6.
So you would be ahead of Rolly. So you would beat Rolly then.
No, Rolly's too big.
So you'd be 7th.
Yeah.
I think I would be at my best right behind you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. All right, guys. When are you guys heading out? Are you going, Evan? You're not going, are you?
Me? Come on.
Why did I even ask?
Who are you talking to?
I know. Jay, when are you going out?
Thursday morning at like 7 a.m. Are you going or?
I don't think I'm going to go. I thought about it, but I got to quarantine for 2 weeks when I get back to Canada. So I'm like, what's it like for a 4-time Mr. Olympia to go to Olympia? Do you have a lot of engagements, or you just kind of walk around and do your own thing?
Yeah, I'll be there quite a bit. I mean, I'm kind of representing Trifecta there and doing my role as, just trying to give the guys morale a little bit. And I've been there, done it. Obviously an odd year, but I'm just there to support more than anything. I mean, I'll be floating through the weekend and, just kind of cheering the guys on. And I'm excited to watch the show. I'm actually sat in the front row last year. I saw Hadi break through, and, I saw Brandon win his first, and, was definitely missing seeing Phil Heath up there. I'm curious to see how he's going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone's kind of anticipating. They have a pay-per-view, which is where most people are going to tune in for it.
Yeah.
You'll do your live thing, kind of watch as you.
I think so. Yeah.
Break it down. And, listen, like Evan said in the beginning of the show, I mean, we talk about, what we all do after, and Evan's obviously still doing it, but you've done a great job stepping away. And I know maybe you have anticipation of getting back on stage too, but this podcast is getting a lot of traction. It's bringing a lot of engagement, and it's giving encouragement to a lot of people and putting eyes on people that might not have that platform. So we appreciate what you're doing. And, I always enjoy being a part of it. And I'm a fan of both of you guys, even, all the years we've kind of been around each other. Evan's, he's kind of like the guy in my neighborhood. And as you know, I mean, I followed your stuff and still follow. I get to tune in on your podcast when I'm driving to my office or whatever. So it's pretty cool.
Thank you, Jay. I do have a question for you, though. Does the ambassador thing come natural to you? Like when you go to the show and all the guys are – because I think all the guys look up to you as, you're Jay, right? So does that thing kind of come natural to you, or is it, it's part of your job?
I have my own kind of like my fans portion still in me where, I'm kind of I get excited to be around it, where some people they walk away and they don't ever pay attention anymore. But
yeah,
I've been there, so I kind of know the nervousness, and I can kind of see people's reaction, and I can kind of vision what's going on in people's heads as they, especially the first timers. And I know what it feels like to get on that stage, and this is like the best of the best. I mean, it's exciting for a lot of these guys. So I think for me, it's just I'm just me. And I really, you know, I'm thankful for what was given to me as, you know, someone that was able to achieve the best status. But more importantly, like, you know, I'm still trying to do great things in the business. And I think we all have to come together and just, like you said, the interaction's a little more now because of social media, and it allows us to be able to get to know these guys a little bit better. And, you know, and of course they look at my achievements as like, oh, that's what the ultimate goal is. Right.
Yeah.
Going to find their way. Everyone's going to be superior in their own way. And hopefully that some of these guys move on to bigger and better things than I ever did. And I'm sure they'll be that case. So it's just great to be there, man. And I think, like I said, I was an introvert. I wasn't a social person, and I'm not necessarily a social person now, but I'll always go out of my way to say hello to everybody and encourage them to stay at it.
Mm-hmm. Evan, before we go, your competitive plans, do you have any, or are you just going to play things by ear for 2021?
I'll probably just play it by ear. Nothing set in stone.
New York is
yeah, tentatively speaking, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you going to post any progress photos for anybody to see how you're looking right now?
How I look right now?
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll wrap it up here, and I appreciate you guys coming on, man. Thank you very much for the time.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, gentlemen. Talk to you later. Bye.
See you guys.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and like the video. And if you get a chance, check out the description for all the different links to all the different places you can find Hostile and myself. And lastly, check out hostile.com for our new line of supplements and all of our apparel and gear. Thanks again for watching.